never dealt with racism. I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism. Don't come at me with that dumb man. My life matters.
In this video, we are going to watch Lil Wayne do what 99% of vacuous celebrities don't have the guts to do, and that is not take the bait when race-hustling journalists try and get you to play the victim. And I'm going to play a series of highlights here over interviews that he's done over the years, which will culminate in the last highlight, which is a lesser known clip, but actually gives a very telling insight into why he does what he does. So with that, let's get into the clip.
Reaction to Kaepernick's protests?
Yeah, going right back again to this man. It's a man and his decisions, man. Respect the man and his decision. That's all I can do. I have no opinion on it because the things that's, I'm not into it enough to even give an opinion. So when he did it, I really didn't even know what. Somebody had to tell me why he was doing it. That's how much I didn't know what was going on. And I kind of still don't. So somebody had to explain to me, like, yo, he kneeling because of the Black Lives Matter thing and because of, and all that wave or whatever, that whole wave just went by me too fast for me even try to even give an opinion. So I just was like, oh, okay. That's what's happening.
So you're a deep thinker in these issues. Mm-hmm. So step back from all of it. I know this is a very broad question, but where are we in the United States of America in race relations and what you see from day to day in your life?
Skip, they wouldn't want to ask me that. They wouldn't want my answer to represent it because God knows I have been nothing but blessed. My whole path, these 33 years have been nothing but a blessing. I have never, and never is a strong word, I've never dealt with racism, and I'm glad I didn't have to. And I don't know if it's because of my blessings, I don't know if it's, but it is my reality. So I would have to say, not only did I thought it was over, I still believe it's over, but obviously it isn't.
So you've never experienced any offensive behavior from any other color or?
No, sir.
Wow. You are blessed.
I find it incredibly commendable that somebody who exists in the environment that Lil Wayne does, in the woke music industry and Hollywood and what have you, has the character to not cave to the temptation of playing the victim. And how unbelievably satisfying is it to watch these mainstream news anchors try to bait him and fail for once. They're so used to just getting prominent black people on their shows and asking them the same disingenuous questions and just rinse and repeat, getting the same virtue signaling answers. But then Lil Wayne comes along and says, I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Somebody had to tell me it's about some like Black Lives Matter thing and I still don't even know. And the cool thing is that it's not a response out of ignorance, although that's kind of what he's portraying. This is a way of him stating a clear message without having to outwardly say it. And what I think he's trying to say is something along the lines of, I am a black man in America and I have literally come from the gutter to be sitting right here, right now. And that is based on my own merit. And it's because I never played the victim card and I never blamed racism for any of my shortcomings. And when you ask me these questions, not only am I going to not parrot the message, but I'm going to say, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. And this is a very powerful message about being the master of your own reality. And the reaction of the host is just priceless. Now let's watch the race baiting continue.
But you see what's going on, even in your city, New Orleans, with Alton Sterling.
Yeah.
During Katrina, the officers that killed those and ended up in jail. So I know you say you're not paying attention to it, but you see some of the things
what's going on.
Right.
Yeah. As far as an opinion on what's going on, I mean, of course, we all want somebody to figure out what's going on first and then put a stop to it or try to put a stop to it. Everybody come together and figure something out, and maybe just coming together is the solution.
Guys, if you enjoy seeing these clips and this narrative that the lamestream media will never show you, then make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment so this video can be spread far and wide. Back to the clips.
But we'd have to do that first. And obviously we have a bunch of differences. People feeling this way, people feeling that way. When you come to a person like me, My answer is always the same, man. My politics, my flag, my country, my nation, my world, all that is Regine, Cameron, Neil, and his brother, Tony. That's it. That's my nation, that's my flag, that's my world, that's my protest, that's my don't protest, that's my everything. That's all that matters, those 4 kids to me.
That's so cool. A simple message, but a powerful one. He's right that coming together would be the solution, but everybody's so divided now by the rampant race hustling that goes on in the legacy media that it doesn't even seem achievable anymore. So instead of getting sucked into vacuous virtue signaling, he chooses to focus on his children and his family and making a good life for them.
So go one level deeper with me. I remember one time I saw you after you had done a concert, I think it was in Westchester, different kind of neighborhood, but I asked you what the racial breakdown was of your audience. Do you remember this? And you told me the only black face you could see in the whole audience was your makeup artist. I believe that's what you said, and she was in the front row, right? A lot of white kids love rap.
Yes.
Explain that. What does that say to you? What's the message of it? What's the bigger picture of it?
I don't want to be bashed because I don't want to sound like I'm on the wrong if there is a side, but I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism. That's what I thought that was.
Okay.
That was a perfect example. When I look out and I come up off the stage, when I'm coming out the bottom of the stage of my show, when I'm on tour, and I'm in my stance or whatever, and I open my eyes and I see everybody. I don't have this type of crowd or that type of crowd. My crowd has always been everybody, thank God. And that's all I can answer for. So,
do you think the younger generation, the millennials, do you think they're moving a little further away from the racism as opposed to where it used to be?
It's not cool to them.
Right.
It's not cool to them. It don't matter to them. And when it's so not cool that it doesn't even matter to them. You know, they're like, what? What? You know, they're like, what happened? And that's their response. That's the millennials' response.
But could it be that you're a musician, and obviously as an ex-professional athlete or as an entertainer, do you think they treat you differently? Although you are black, you are a prominent figure in the black community. Could that be?
That's why I said I'm sure it may be because of my blessings.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why my path has been different.
Right.
But I'm be first the one to say I'm sure that has a lot to do with it, but it also is the person that I am. I believe strongly that it's the person that I am.
You treat people a certain way.
Exactly.
It's almost like he's saying here in a very calculated way that it's not about the color of your skin, but the content of your character.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
And isn't it funny that we live in a world where Martin Luther King's message is something that a black man on national television in America has to be very tactful about saying. Otherwise, he might get, as he said, bashed for being on the wrong side, which also him saying that demonstrates that he knows exactly what he's doing. And it's so silly to think that this conversation is so heavily concentrated in the USA, the place that had a black president for 8 years and that have so many of their cultural icons that are black, so many of their athletes and entertainers who they worship and fill up stadiums to go and adore are black. And not to mention you've got activist groups like BLM who are burning down cities, and you've got shows like this happening where individuals that are black are on mainstream television calling the country racist and criticizing the president. Put it this way, in China, there will be no ethnic minorities going on TV and saying how racist the country is and insulting Xi Jinping. There will also be no ethnic minorities becoming General Secretary of China anytime soon. And you can bet your bottom dollar that there will be nobody taking the knee when the national anthem is playing at sporting events. Now on to the next clip, where Wayne appears slightly more rogue because of how they've clipped it, but maybe also to do with what he had for lunch. But just observe here the picture that they're trying to paint of him and how they demonize him for having the wrong opinion.
When you look back at prison, has it been life-changing?
I learned a lot about people. You are all on the same level. you're all going through the same thing. Everybody wants to go home.
But outside of a jail cell, his celebrity status has clearly shaped his perspective. Recently stirring controversy on Fox Sports when he said he personally doesn't see racism because so many of his fans are white.
I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism.
There was a lot of backlash from people about that. Would you change it, what you said, or
No,
you
not
still
at
feel the
all.
same way? What's your thought on Black Lives Matter?
What is it? What do you mean?
The idea was that there's this movement called Black Lives Matter, thinking that the rest of America didn't seem to understand that Black Lives Matter.
It just sounds weird. I didn't know that you put a name on it. It's not a name, it's not whatever. It's somebody got shot by police and for a up reason. I am a young, black, rich. If that don't let you know that America understands Black matter these days, I don't know what it is. Don't come at me with that dumb man. My life matter, especially to my.
Do you separate yourself from it?
I don't feel connected to a damn thing that ain't got nothing to do with me. If you do, you crazy as you. Connected to this flag right. As I'm connected, I'm a gangbanger, man. I'm connected.
He ended our interview angrily.
Politician.
Lil Wayne is in the business of making music, not apologies. For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Davis in New York.
Really? A man who makes his living using offensive language offended by a question? Okay, that's one way to end an interview.
Isn't it funny how having the wrong opinion about racism as a black man in America can have you vilified like this and basically painted as a heretic? And if I didn't know any better, it would almost be like the legacy media and those people who are always pushing this Black Lives Matter narrative are actually the racist ones. It's almost like they're openly and overtly judging people and telling them what they can and can't think based on the pigmentation of their skin. Now for the final clip, which actually gives a very interesting insight into why Lil Wayne does what he does and why it is that his life experiences have caused him to reject this conditioning.
At the age of 12 years old, I shot myself. I was in the house. Police knocked on the door. I was right there. They knocked the door down. Everybody jumped over my body to go get the guns and drugs and whatever they could find. It took one guy to stop right there and cuss everybody that hopped over me out. Like, what the f are y'all doing? They say, oh, no, we was gonna see if it, what the f are y'all doing? We called the ambulance. An ambulance, do you not see this kid on the floor with this hole in his chest? Say, you drive, pick me up. Brought me to the hospital. He didn't drop me off at the ambulance and say, you take him. He brought me to the hospital room and made two and stood there and waited till the doctor said he's gonna make it. He said, don't worry, my name's Uncle Bob. He was white as snow. The that hopped over me was blacker than me.
Was he a cop?
Yeah, he was a cop, and my life was saved by a white man. I don't know what racism is. I know a good name Uncle Bob, though.
So a beautiful story there about a young Lil Wayne at 12 years old trying to end it all and being saved by a heroic white police officer. And these stories happen a lot more than the stories that you'll see in the media. But for some reason, they don't tell us those ones. But big respect to Lil Wayne here, and I wish that more young people would listen to this message, rather than the race-hustling victim mentality message that the lamestream media and cowardly, money-hungry celebrities will try and peddle. Here's a man who came from nothing and tried to end it all at 12 years old that has risen up to have everything you could ever want in life because he used the opportunities at his disposal. And this mentality that he portrays will without a doubt get you so much further in life than the victim mentality ever will. If you live your life believing you can't be who or what you want because of systemic barriers or because of the color of your skin, then you are destined for failure, and it's nobody's fault but your own. So with that, guys, make sure you check out my other channels linked in the bio and at the top of the comments. And if you guys want to watch another video, click right here. Till next time, I'm Jake. This is RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.